short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. This terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
The entire Middle East was on fire right now.
The United States and Israel has launched a dramatic airstrike campaign targeting Iran, and Iran has responded with fire across the wider Middle East.
Iran's supreme leader is dead, one of the most evil people in history.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of terrible people.
Last night, the United States and Iran once again attacked each other. Iran launched attacks on 3 commercial vessels, and the United States destroyed more than 80 Iranian targets. Iran fired missiles at the US bases in Kuwait and Bahrain, and Trump stood at the NATO summit and said that the deal is ours.
They're liars, they're cheats, they're sick people. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. To me, I think it's over.
And the deal that everyone was saying had brought peace, that peace had finally been achieved, actually was not even a deal. If Iran and the United States go to war again, are we heading toward a grand scale war? Do you think this can once again move toward a deal or toward peace? Or this whole world being prepared for global depression, for economic depression? What's the story? Let's understand. First, let's understand this whole picture because the situation changed completely within 3 days. On July 7, Iran launched attacks on 3 commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. These were not warships. These were cargo ships used for trade. The United States responded immediately. The CENTCOM, the US Central Command, targeted more than 80 Iranian targets. Air defense systems, radar systems, anti-ship missiles, and more than 60 IRGC small attack boats that target ships in the Strait of Hormuz. This morning, Donald Trump's statement came. Donald Trump stood in Turkey and made a statement that if Iran does anything, we will do 20 times more.
I would say 20 to 1, 20 times tougher.
But Iran did not sit quietly. It attacked with missile and drone on US military bases in Kuwait and Bahrain, 2 Gulf countries. And on July 8, Donald Trump stood on stage at the NATO summit in Turkey. And Donald Trump said, do you know what? Donald Trump said that, in my opinion, the ceasefire is ours.
To me, I think it's over.
I do not want to make any more deals with them. Talking to them is a waste of time. And he also took back the waiver that was the permission for Iran to sell oil. Now, the result came that oil prices went up 4 to 6% in one day. Stock markets around the world were shaken. Stock market around the world went down. And all this happening at a time when Khamenei funeral is taking place in Iran. This morning, ceremonies have continued for several days, meaning in one side mourning, on the other side war. So the question is, 2 months ago, the whole world was saying that deal happened, peace came, Pakistan did something amazing. Then why did all this happening again? And why did the fire flare off again? To answer to this, we have to look at the deal very carefully. First, let's start a story a little from the beginning. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched a joint air campaign against Iran. Iran nuclear sites were targeted. Iran's supreme leader was attacked, and Ayatollah Khamenei was killed. Iran responded, fired missiles at Israel, attacked US bases, and the biggest turn came when Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And as soon as the Strait of Hormuz was shut down, a significant portion of the world oil export was disrupted. Oil prices surged. There was a shortage of petrol in Asia. This was Iran's biggest weapon, not a gun, but a small 33-kilometer road that made the world grin its teeth. Pakistan came in between. In April, delegation from the United States and Iran sat together in Islamabad. For the first time since 1969, the 2 countries formally agreed to meet together. This conversation continued for 21 hours. But stop here for 1 minute because this point is very important and the soul of the whole story. At this 21-hour meeting, everything was discussed except 2 points. And these 2 points are the most important. The control of the Strait of Hormuz in Iran nuclear program. And after a few days, what did you see? The US President Donald Trump said that most points have been agreeable, but that point that mattered, the nuclear point, was not agreeable. In the matter book, and in turn, the United States tightened the siege on Iran's sea road. Naval blockades were imposed, and for 2 months there were threats, blockade, and a small fight. Then in June, with the help of Qatar and Pakistan, a drop was prepared. On June 17, it came out in the form of an MOU. Donald Trump signed it in the Palace of Versailles. While having dinner, and the Pezeshkian signed it Tehran, named Islamabad memorandum. And this is the same thing which Iran, everyone kept calling a peace deal, keep understanding as a peace deal, keep saying was a peace deal. But it was not a peace deal. Now, the first thing first, everyone should understand that this Islamabad memorandum is not a peace treaty. It was a 14-point framework, and its real purpose was what? That there would be 60 days ceasefire, so that those 60 days, the real deal could be discussed. Meaning this was not a deal. This was a promise to make the deal, and its deadline is mid-August. This is a few weeks from now, and inside the framework there are 4 loopholes that haul out the whole framework from within. Now let's look at each loophole one by one. The first loophole is its nuclear issue, which still has not been resolved. The foundation of the whole word that the United States told to the world, that the theme that the United States sent into the world is Iran nuclear program. And this deal, there was no mention of it. Inside the framework that was only said that after the final agreement, Iran would reduce its uranium enrichment. But the final agreement did not came into existence. Meaning the biggest thing, which was the biggest danger, the most dangerous issue for which the whole war was started, for which so much work was done, was not even mention of it. It was left vague that only 60-day curtain is created behind the curtain. Such a big loophole will be hidden forever. Then comes loophole number 2. Iran missile in their use by proxies. Now Israel and Gulf countries keep saying one thing again and again since the war started, and even before the war, the Iran ballistic missile program is used by proxies like Hezbollah. In their eyes, there was the biggest issue, but in this deal, there was not even a mention of it. In Iran clearly said that our missile program is not for negotiations, meaning the enemy biggest weapon is the eyes of the war was not even on the table. So this created a loophole inside the entire framework. And then came loophole number 3. Then this is the real spot because which the fire is burning today. The control of Hormuz was deliberately kept unclear. And the deal that was said that Iran would open Hormuz, ship would pass without any interruption, but only for 60 days. Think about it, what this sentence means. It means only 60 days, meaning after that, then what? After that, who will control this route? Who will collect tools? And who pocket will that tool go? Who will control the tool? These are very important questions. And because of this question, there is a fight today. Iran wants that a new system should be made for Hormuz, and which it charge the passing ships and collect tool. Oman, which handled this route with Iran, it is against the tool. And the United States say that the tool is not acceptable under any circumstances. Meaning there are 3 countries, and all 3 countries are against each other. And because of this decision on this deal was left hanging there. And then comes loophole number 4. The civil line meeting that actually never happened, meaning after the deal, it was decided among all parties that the United States, Iran, and mediators, namely Pakistan and Qatar, would sit together in the city of Switzerland, Bergenstadt, so that the implementation of this deal, the implementation talks could be a part of it, which was the deal, or which was the real work. But what happened? At the end of June, Witkoff and questionnaire met the mediator in Doha, but no high-level meeting with the senior Iranian officials was confirmed, meaning the talk which the whole deal was supposed to be built. The big people were supposed to sit on that. The negotiation had already automatically stopped before this would last. Now look at the whole picture, a deal in which the nuclear issue was postponed. The missile program was not included at all. The control of Hormuz was left open. And the implementation meeting never happened. This was a peace deal. This was not a peace deal. This was a 60-day truce, meaning breathing room between two fighting countries. Definitely not a peace deal. So now we came to a real question. After poor Lafols, which Lafol brushed the imprint of the world this week, it was the control of Strait of Hormuz that brushed. One of the world's most reliable defense think tanks, the Institute of the Study of the War, wrote something this week. They wrote that Iran could not gain control of Hormuz through diplomacy. So now it want to gain the thing through force. It repeatedly pressuring the Gulf country to accept Iran's system. And the most important thing that Iran is ready to go into a big war with the United States, ready to take a risk of a big war just for control of the Strait of Hormuz. Here is the thing to understand is that for Iran, control of Hormuz is even more important than avoiding war. It considered grave on this road is so important that for it, it's ready to fight the United States again. Why? Because the biggest trump card, this is the biggest trump card. Iran may perhaps not able to compete with the United States military power. Its economy is devastated. Its currency had fallen to the ground. But on the other hand, it's the pressure really of the whole world. A pressure really through which the world economy can be stopped. It's not ready to give up the card. And the tool that money is very important for its weak economy. It can become the lifeline of Iran economy. And the United States now faces a difficult strategic dilemma right now. The United States now faces a difficult strategic dilemma because it has the power that in one night can blow off more than 80 Iranian targets. But it cannot make this road safe so that the United States would in any trader, any ship happily put in commercial ships on this route. And it dropped because the United States has midterm election. And this midterm election, if Donald Trump goes into a full-scale war with Iran, the problem is that American voter may not support a prolonged war during the midterm elections. And if the United States intensifies this war and the pressure to the world economy, in the oil supply economy, become so much the United States itself cannot sustain the pressure. The pressure will come into the United States too. The United States at this moment cannot ever afford inflation across the whole world, meaning this is a great time for Iran to get anything done. What's going to happen next? Well, as always, to pay the prices these two move ahead, fight, destroy each other. The fighting increased, but at last moment they step back because at this time neither can afford a big thing. Both are how trapped. Iran cannot afford a big war, and the United States midterm election are hanging over. It cannot afford oil inflation in the world either. So maybe after a few days you will see a new ceasefire again. The second option could be that this time, as think tanks are saying, this time Iran is not ready to give up the Strait of Hormuz, and it's serious to take on a big war too. If that happened, then this war does not just a war between two countries, but it become the whole world, and the whole world economy could get pulled out into. The things to keep eye on the mid-August, this 60-day deadline ends. Can any talk, any deal be made before this deadline ends? Can there be any talk in nuclear issue? Can there be an agreement on control of Hormuz? If not, then you will see this war keep intensifying with the time, and this only a pause for the preparation of the next war.